Hey everyone, this is my first time doing a class guide. I am using all the guides as reference, but I will link them below. Early Motion is a 3-minute class and will most likely be a 2-minute class in the future. It isn't too hard to play, but it's not the laziest class either. You have short combos to do more FD per use. Motion's link skill is a stacking link skill that essentially gives you 16% boss damage. His Legion bonus is crit damage, similar to Shade and Hayato. He definitely is a character that you want to get up to 200 or 250 ASAP, if you are serious about bossing. For movement, you have a basic up jump and flash jump. You also have a dash skill similar to Kali. And your third skill is a backstep, similar to Shade or Nightwalker. Motion has a ton of useful passives. I won't go over all of them, but basically it's all desired. I'm talking about a ton of crit rate, like 50%, 80 attack, 10 crit damage, 50 IED, 20 boss, and more. You also get 10 FD and 10 more crit damage by finishing the whole storyline. Essentially, Motion has gray and blue skills. You link the gray into blue for more FD. More on that later, or you can check the timestamps. Motion has a skill in 4th job called Secret Art Divine Fist Disciples, which gives crit damage to your party members for 30 seconds. Pretty OP. Also, in 4th job, you get a passive called Air of the Divines. This skill is a stacking skill that isn't too hard to upkeep. The way I upkeep this is rotating Xuan Arts, Tian, which I refer to as Fists for future reference, and Erupting Flames from 1st job. And also you want to use Xuan Arts, D, which I refer to as Feet for future reference, and Tearing Wind from 2nd job. There is a cooldown for both skills, so you may have to wait a bit outside the boss room before you enter. Just rotate these skills and get to a max stack of 5 before you enter. Motion also has a unique bind like Zero that has a 3-second duration. This can be used every 45 seconds. This skill is called Righteous Thunder in 3rd job. Boy, does he have iframes. The huge one is a damage reduction, but it is a pseudo iframe. This skill is called Chi Shield in 4th job. This gives you a 100% damage block, but then gets weaker with each hit, down to 20%. So the first hit is negated. The second time you get hit is 85 damage reduction, and then 70% on the third, and so on. The second iframe we will talk about is Soul Art Beneath Heaven, which is a 4-second iframe. You get this in 5th job. It does have a 3-minute cooldown, so be careful. The third iframe is called Black Wind, which is actually a hyper. This is a 2-second iframe. And the fourth, yes, 4. The 4th iframe is your Bind, which is a 2-second iframe. So Motion actually has a super armor during burst, which is your heatdown skill, called Divine Art Howling Storm. You won't get knocked back during bursts like most classes like Shade. It is not an iframe or damage reduction, so you can still die. Use with caution. So for inners, it's like Cadena. Cooldown skip, boss, and buff or abnormal. Most of your skills can be skipped, and you have short cooldowns anyways. Motion doesn't need attack speed on inners to cap, and Motion has a high base crit rate, so you don't really need the crit on the inners. We have a lot of sources for crit rate such as Links, Legion, Artifacts, and lastly Hypers if you need it. Like most classes, you want the crit rate blocks to be at least 200 or 250 to give yourself more gains elsewhere on Links or Hypers. These two classes are Marksman and Night Lord. For Hypers, you want these skills. Like combo classes, like Kali and Cadena, you do want a cooldown hat. You want at least a -3 hats. -4 is ideal, but can be pretty expensive. As for Oz Rings, this is definitely a Kant class, because you are constantly bursting. For 5th job, here are the tri-notes. There are 3 of them. This motion is a pirate and a special class like Lin. There are a bunch of extra skills to max out. This is a very node heavy class if you plan to actually play it. So for skill breakdown, the fist has 2 parts, and the feet also has 2 parts. With these 2 skills, you don't want to spam it. I'll explain a bit later in the FD section. It is indicated by how many actions you have done by the blinking blue diamonds on the gauge icon. Now for the divine skills or blue skills, you want to link the feet or fists with these skills for FD bonus. You can tell what you can link by the glowing ring around the skills icons. The first skill is Erupting Flames. Second is Tearing Wind. Third is Righteous Thunder. Fourth is Swirling Tide. Fifth is Howling Storm. And sixth is Crashing Earth. Next, we have the True Energy skill, or the 5th job skills. The first one is Black Wind. Next is Conquered Self. Third is Open Gates. And lastly, we have Beneath Heaven. Next, we're going to talk about the Secret Art skills, or other grade skills, besides the feet and fists. The first one is Chi Projection, which is important. It is your toggle and it attacks by itself. The next one is Chi Disruption, which is your bind and iframe. And we talked about Chi Shield already, but if you forgot, it's your damage reduction. But then we have Strength Within, which is in your hypers. This gives you the max divine stacks right away. And there is also that OP crit damage buff that you give to your teammates. Since Motion shares a faction with Lin, he will also have the common core called the Ring of Samsara. This is a selector skill. I do play Lin, but basically use a skill and select one. Trust me. It's 20% damage. That's all you need to know. And Motion is also a pirate, so he also has the overdrive and dice nodes. For the dice, bossing you want the 5 dice for 20% damage. For training, you want the 6 dice for 30% EXP. And he also has the Maple Goddess node. In 6th job, you have a cool ass origin. I'm not there yet, but I'll post the stats here. Your first mastery is your Hexa fists and feet. Your second mastery is your Hexa keydown burst skill. Now for the combo wing. I will show this chart first and explain. So basically you get a ton of FD linking the proper skills together, and this is our bread and butter. In the first example is feet and Tearing Wind. The Tearing Wind will do 50% more FD. And the second example is feet and Swirling Tide. Doing this combo will make your Tide do 100% more FD, and so on. I know all the skills are kind of hard to see, and they're all blue, so we'll translate it to have the skills and jobs. So you can easily replicate these combos and find the proper places on your keyboard to link these. Mine's still all over the place, but whatever. Now for a little bit of complication. This next part we're talking about are the divine skills. So for these skills, it matters the order and what skills you use. They will do several things, such as give 50% FD, give 100% FD, minus 25 skill cooldown, or skill reduction and a combination of the 50 and 100% FD. Remember me talking about the chart earlier? Yeah, so the 50% and 100% will depend on the skills. So if you use Erupting Flames into 2 fists into your cooldown, it will reduce the cooldown by 25% and then give you your 100% FD. If you look carefully at your icons, you can see there are different symbols, similar to Ho Young. You basically want to link the similar symbols. For example, the reason why I use Fist and Erupting Flame is because they are both Heaven skills, which is why we get a stack of the Divine. And also it has a glowing ring to show that it can be linked. Same thing with Feet and Tearing Wind. I'm not optimized and I'm not used to bossing yet, but here's the rotation. I will go slow and have it on screen as well. So we want to start off with the Aura of Destiny for 10% damage. And then Goddess to boost our Maple Warrior. Power of Destiny, it should be on 1 for the 20% damage. And then we use Open Gate for the 16% extra crit damage. Also +1 attack. And then we use Conquer Self for after images to help us do damage. Then there's Overdrive. Then AB Link or Terms and Condition. Roar if you have it, but if not, then just ignore this part. And then your Origin. Again, if you don't have Origin, just ignore that part too. And then we use Black Wind. This is also an iframe. And then we use Crashing Earth. Next, we use Beneath Heaven. Again, this is an iframe. And cancel this with Hero's Will right afterwards. And then you fist twice into Howling Storm to make Howling Storm 100% more FD. And then fist and Erupting Flame. Again, just for more damage. And then we use 2 feats into Crashing Earth for the 100% FD bonus for Crashing Earth. And then we use Fist and Righteous Thunder for damage as well as the extra bind. And then we finish off with Feet and Swelling Tide for the last 100% thunder damage. And then you just keep fisting. Holy shit, that was hard. And this is your 60-second burst rotation. And this is the best combo off burst. There's a ton more you can do, but check the doc and the description. For farming, you want to mount with Feet just because it has a better range. And make sure you have your toggle on. I will also have the infographic, which is also linked below. Well, I hope that wasn't too long and it was informative enough. If you know me, I normally do short format videos, but I've had a lot of requests for this guide for some reason. If you enjoyed it, then let me know and leave a comment below. And you might as well like and share the video if it helps. Anyways, let me know what I should do next if you guys enjoyed this video. Good luck.